Hello, I hope you enjoy my story. Ever since I met my boyfriend, Jason, I felt like I would always be with him. I felt he was the one. Smart, kind, and very loving. We met at a friend's party over the summer, after our junior year in high school. We have been together ever since. Our senior year was so exciting, culminating with prom night. It had started out like any other prom night. I got all dolled up, as did Jason. Jason's father begrudgingly loaned him his Mercedes. When Jason picked me up, my mom took tons of photos. We had a great time, and after the event, my friends expected me to join them at an after-party. I mentioned this to Jason, but he had other plans. He whispered in my ear that he had reserved a room at a motel and wanted to have some quality time. That was all I needed to hear, and we took off and drove straight to the motel. Jason wasted no time getting me in bed. I tried to make Jason last as long as possible. I wanted to really enjoy the moment. To his credit, Jason did last longer than usual, but not long enough for me to climax. I figured we would have time to remedy that. Little did I know I would get off, just not with Jason. After Jason and I had finished, we laid around and talked for a bit. We eventually decided to join our friends. It was prom night after all. We had each brought a change of clothes, and so we changed. Our friends had rented a house that was big, had a pool, DJ, and food. It would not be a party without some alcohol, the catalyst for bad decisions. Now, I must tell you that my Jason is not a big drinker. He never really liked it that much. He would drink, but often would stop after a round or two. That night, though, he seemed to want to celebrate and did not pace himself. For most of the party, we danced, talked, and drank. I danced with my friends and obviously with Jason. As the party went on, though, Jason started stumbling around, and so I sat with him for a bit. Eventually, he wanted to lie down, so I took him to one of the bedrooms on the first floor. It was furthest from the noise and had an attached bathroom. I went back out with my friends and figured I would wait for Jason to sober up and then maybe go to the hotel or just go home. I was not upset, but I didn't count on Jason getting drunk. My friends made sure I did not dwell on it with lots of shots and dancing. Some of the partygoers had started using the pool, some with clothes on and others in various states of undress. It was getting crazy. I did not plan on jumping in, instead dancing with the girls and occasionally checking on Jason. One of those times, as I made my way to see Jason, I ran into Jaden. He plays on the football team. If I had to describe him to you, I would say Jaden is a very athletic and handsome African-American classmate who is a star running back. We knew each other from chemistry and biology class. Jaden asked how Jason was doing, and I told him I was going to check on him. He went with me, and Jason had not moved from where I had left him. After I made sure he had a pulse, we left the room. Jaden asked if he could get a dance with me later. I told him absolutely. His date had a strict curfew, and so he was going to drop her off and come back. I was dancing with the girls when Jaden came back. He wasted no time in joining us, eventually pulling me away from them. We had a great time dancing. After 20 minutes or so, I told Jaden I needed a break. He agreed, and I went to go check on Jason. I saw that he had moved around a bit and had drank some water. I tried to talk to him, but he did not wake up. As I propped his head up with pillows, Jaden came in with some ice-cold water. We set it down and decided to go back to the party. Jaden suggested we go through the sliding door that led to a small garden that connected to the pool area. We took this shortcut and made our way to the patio where the party was. Some of my friends had definitely gone wild. They had stripped down to bras and panties and were in the pool. I laughed and cheered them on as Jaden and I danced. Someone killed the lights outside, and the only light was from the kitchen and living room. The first few minutes, we danced like before, just normal. But it changed when Jaden asked the DJ to play some raunchy rap music. Once the bass started to reverberate everything, Jaden began to really put his body against me. I didn't mind. To me, it was just dancing. But after another song or two, I found myself grinding against him. I guess the alcohol was getting to me. When I realized this, I started to slowly pull away. I was with Jason, after all. Jaden, however, wanted to keep grinding and would pull me back to him. We continued to grind against each other for some time. Once I began to feel Jaden's hardness, I found myself no longer wanting to move away. I felt my body tingle with my own excitement. I even let myself lean back against Jaden. He rested his head on my shoulder. As we danced like that, I could feel his breath on my ear and neck. It drove me nuts. Eventually, he started to turn my body to face away from the crowd. With our backs to the crowd, he ran his hands down my body and back up. I didn't say anything or try to stop him. It felt too good. This went on for a couple of songs until he whispered in my ear we should go into the pool. I readily agreed, but wanted to check once more on Jason. It had been an hour since the last check. Jaden took my hand and we went around the side to get to the room through the sliding door. Jason was snoring. He had drank more water, so I took the glass to fill it up. I got back, set it down, and as I was fixing the pillows, Jaden came up behind me and started to hold me like when we were dancing. Before I could say anything, he started to kiss my neck and make me whimper. As he made me melt, he began to undress me. I could not believe I was letting him undress me 1 foot away from Jason's sleeping body. I was too turned on to stop him. If Jason had woken up, I am not sure I would have stopped. After I was down to my panties, I turned to undress Jaden. I got him down to his boxers and could not help but grab his junk. It felt big and powerful. I kissed Jaden on the mouth as I played with him. To my surprise, he stopped me. He told me he wanted to do it in the pool. I was beyond horny, so I only nodded my head in agreement and took his hand. We went out the sliding door and into the night, practically naked. With the aid of darkness, we slipped into the pool. There were other people in it, but they seemed to be having their own fun. It was dark enough I could not make out who they were. Jaden immediately took off his boxers and set them on the edge. I wasted no time in taking off my panties and letting Jaden guide me on top of him. I had to cover my mouth so as to not moan out loud. Jaden was a whole different experience, unlike anything I had ever experienced. Once I had adjusted to his size, I began to enjoy the sensation. He definitely took care of my needs. By the time he finished, he had given me 2 big O's. He held me in his arms as we both came down from our highs. We hung out a bit more, but then I started to get cold. We went back to the room. Jason was fine, but I was shocked to see we had left all our clothes on the floor by the bed. Jaden and I jumped into the shower real quick and rinsed off. We got dressed and made our way back to the party. About an hour later, I was in the kitchen talking to friends when Jason appeared. I made sure he was okay and got him some aspirin. He apologized for passing out and ruining prom night. I told him that was nonsense and told him we should just go. We made our way to the car and he took me home. After dropping me off, I laid in bed and thought about the whole night. Before I fell asleep, I knew I had to break up with Jason.